Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to illustrate how we can resolve a commonly faced failed network error while running Pentaho Report Designer reports through Xsection in Google Chrome. Let me illustrate this error with an example. Here I have a report which I want to run in Google Chrome through Xsection. The Chrome version that I am using is version 69.0.3497.9. When I try to run this report in Excel format by clicking on Run Report tab, I immediately see a failed network error. However, if I try to run the same report in Mozilla Firefox version 57.0.1, when I click on the Run Report tab, the report downloads successfully. The report also downloads successfully on Internet Explorer and Safari. What is even more interesting is that when I run the same report within Google Chrome, but instead of Xsection through Pentaho Report Viewer, as illustrated here, I choose the format of the report in Excel that I had read earlier. I see that the report downloads successfully. What is even more interesting, that this failed network error is faced only in the Pentaho Community Edition that we are using. So the Pentaho Community Edition version that we are using is version 6.0.1.0386. If we were to run the same report in Google Chrome through Xsection by using the Pentaho Enterprise Edition, we would not get this failed network error. Now what is it that is causing the report to download successfully within one browser and not so in another browser? Within one environment in the same browser and not in another environment in the same browser. By using one version of the software and not by using another version of the software. We did a rigorous investigation of the whole issue and found out that this failed network error in Google Chrome is because Google Chrome is rejecting any report that is being generated by the use of a parameter output type that has now been deprecated in favor of a new parameter output target. As you can see here, this is the reporting plugin parameter reference, and it very well illustrates that the output type parameter has now been deprecated in favor of a new parameter output target. This output type parameter was an implicit parameter that was being used in our report PRPDs. This was never explicitly passed as a parameter in our PRPD, but both our Xsection and HTML files had a reference to this output type and its corresponding values. Since this parameter has now been deprecated in the Pentaho Community Edition, it is important to override it explicitly with a new parameter output target in our PRPD, in our Xsection, and in our HTML. Let us do that. I first of all download my report structure. Here is my download. Let me create a folder on my desktop so that I can better locate it next time. We will unzip all our files into this folder. Let us now start making changes in all our files. So the files that we have got are these three. We have report.prpt, report.xsection, and teamsupport.html. We will be making changes in each of these three files one by one. Let us start the report PRPT. Here, I have the Pentaho report designer The version that I'm using is PRD 6.0.1.0386. As you can see here, as of now, there is no parameter output type explicitly mentioned here. This parameter is implicitly there. If we see that Xaction file that we have, this makes use of an output type parameter which is explicitly mentioned in the Xaction but not there in the report PRPT. This is because this parameter was being implicitly used in our PRPT file. But since we need to override it, we will configure and pass explicitly a new parameter output target by using the appropriate values. Here I add a new parameter output target. Let me give a default label. Enter output type. And here I can choose any default value for my output target. The default value I'll choose depends on the kind of format I want to be generated in the default mode. What is important to see that earlier the default values for output type were just XLS if you wanted to generate an Excel file, HTML if you wanted to present it in the form of an HTML document or PDF. But when we use the new parameter output target, we need to change those values. If I want, say for example, my file to be generated in the XLS format, I'll use this as the output target value. Let me set it as a default value for my report. Here I save the file. Let me now move to the report.xsection in which I need to replace this output type with output tag. Throughout the file. As you can see, the output type gets replaced with output target. Let me also change the values which were earlier there for output type and update them with the corresponding values for output target. For HTML, we have this. For XLS, we shall use this. And for PDF, we have this. Let us save the exception. Next we move to the team support HTML, HTML file which renders this web page and make the same changes. From output type, we will change it to output target as we did in the case of Xaction. And again, we will change the corresponding values from HTML, XLS and PDF to the new values that are there for the output target parameter. For HTML, we again choose this. For XLS, as before this. And for the PDF, pageable/PDF. The file has been saved. Now let us go back and deploy the updated files in our Pentaho console. I move to the desktop. The files have been changed recently. The first one is the report PRPT. Second, we have the report.xsection. And finally, our HTML file, teamsupport.html. Let me now open the same file through Xaction again. I am doing this in Google Chrome. When I try to click on Excel and run the report, remember earlier we were seeing the failed network error. But when I try to run the same report now, the report downloads successfully. Thus, whenever we have a case in which a report or anything different, it may be an analyzer, it may be a dashboard, which was working fine earlier in a given environment, but stopped working so all of a sudden. We need to explore the issue from different perspectives. Had we just focused on issues with the Chrome browser, we might never have been able to locate the actual issue. The issue occurred because of deprecation of a parameter output type, which has now been upgraded to output target, which needs to be passed, configured and passed explicitly in our report PRPT, and at the same time, we need to replace the output type parameter in our Xsection and HTML with the output target parameter and its new values. Thus, in this video, I have illustrated how we can resolve the commonly faced failed network error while running Pentaho report designer reports through Xsection in Google Chrome. This has been done by updating the output type parameter in favor of output target because the former got